Hi everyone, Margot here, and you're watching Joie de Livre. So, a couple of weeks ago, I did a video about my favorite books that I read in the summer of 2017, and one of those was My Cousin Rachel by Daphne DuMaurier. And a film actually came out this year that's based on the book, and I watched it this weekend and wanted to do a video update and review of the movie as compared to the book and which one I liked better. So let me get started by saying that I really loved this movie and I would highly recommend it. And after reading the book, I had certain expectations and I felt like the movie really delivered on those. So for those of you who haven't read the book or watched the movie, this is a novel by Daphne DuMaurier, and I believe it was published in 1951, and it's set in Cornwall in the mid 19th century, so kind of Victorian era, and it's sort of a Victorian Gothic novel, and it centers on the life of Philip Ashley, who's this bachelor in Cornwall, and he has this estate, and his cousin marries a woman named Rachel, and this happens early on in the book, so this is not a spoiler, but his cousin passes away, and Rachel ends up coming to visit the estate and to visit Philip. And he kind of has preconceived ideas about her and doesn't want to like her, but gradually she kind of insinuates herself with him, and his ideas about her change very quickly. And so it's kind of a Gothic novel set in Cornwall, and that's kind of the basic premise of the plot, and it goes on from there. But so to contrast the book with the movie a little bit, I felt like the book developed more slowly than the film. And by slowly, I don't mean that it was dull or dry or anything like that, but I felt like in the book, you had a lot of time to kind of get to know the characters and get to know their ideas about things and their quirks, and you really got to know some of the servants in the home with Philip and got to know kind of some of their eccentricities. And in the film, you get introduced to everyone very quickly, and the first quarter of the book passes very quickly in the movie. And I'm sure some of that is just due to the nature of it being a different medium. And in the book, she has as much time as she wants, to let the story unfold. Whereas in the movie, they're trying to fit it into a 2 hour or less time span. So I didn't think that was a negative. It was just kind of a difference between the book and the movie. And I did like that about the book, that you really got to know those characters and got to know the situation. And Philip, when you first meet him in the book, you really like him, and he comes across as, at least to me, very fair with all of the workers on his estate and the people in the town, and he has a lot of responsibility for a very young man, and seems like he does very well with that. And then, of course, Rachel comes in and turns everything upside down. And in the film, as I said, it's a little bit more fast-paced. And as far as the casting goes, I felt like the casting was excellent, and I wouldn't have changed anything. Sam Claflin was the main character, Philip Ashley, and he did an excellent job. And I felt like his character in the movie came across as a little bit more abrasive than in the book. And I don't know if that's just because I'm seeing it in film rather than reading it in the page, but I felt like that was a little bit different. But still, I felt like he did an excellent job and really enjoyed his portrayal of that character. And he's kind of a complex character who's dealing with a lot of emotions, and I thought he did an excellent job of portraying him. And then Rachel Weisz is the title character, Rachel, and I also felt like she was an excellent choice, and her portrayal of Rachel was spot on, and she hit all of the emotions and all of the conflicts in the book and in the film, and I really like Rachel Weisz, so I was not disappointed by her. And then Holliday Grainger played the character of Louise, who's Philip's friend and kind of becomes more and more his confidant. And I loved her as well. I'm a big fan of Holliday Grainger. I got to know her acting style through the Borgias series, which is an excellent series. And so I was pleased that she'd been cast in this role, and I loved her portrayal of Louise as well. And I actually wanted more of her. And, at the beginning of the film, she's only in a few scenes, and I liked her so much that I wanted to see her on the screen more, and toward the end she is in the film more and more. And then all of the other more minor characters were really well cast as well, so I thought it was a stellar cast. And As far as the setting goes, sometimes you envision a setting in your mind when you're reading a book, and then when it's on the screen, it's completely different than what you thought it was. And that was not the case here. I felt like the filmmakers really hit the nail on the head and portraying this beautiful old country estate in Cornwall and the dreary weather and the ocean and the cliffs. It was just a beautiful movie to watch visually. So that was really enjoyable as well. And the costumes and everything, it was very well done, I thought. And there were a few things about the film that were different than the movie. The ending was slightly different. I felt like in the book, the ending is left a little bit uncertain. And then in the film, you kind of see a little bit more of what happens to Philip. And I kind of liked that aspect of the film, even though it wasn't necessarily completely true to the novel, because I felt like the book left me wanting a little bit more, and the film kind of tied up the big loose end that was left loose in the book. So I really enjoyed seeing that. But overall, I thought that the film captured really well the tensions between the different characters and the plot lines. And if you enjoyed the novel, I would highly recommend the film. And if you're a fan of Daphne DuMaurier, I would recommend both reading the book and watching the movie. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.